the way I look at failure is every project I ever did in my life that was for fun. Building a little game, building a little sound maker. You know, back in high school we had driving simulators and I'd make something that sounded like a police siren to fool everybody in the dark. Well, but every one of those projects, I learned a few little techniques of connecting things together, and over time I wanted to make them fewer and fewer parts than any other human would think of doing. But they weren't worth money, they weren't worth successful companies, but each time my brain improved and remembered it for the next project I did. You move forward, just like with mathematics. You start with one level of mathematics and move up through the levels. So those were kind of like steps on the way. They weren't real failures. Almost everything that I've taken on, get an idea so clear in my head before I jump into it that I have a pretty good idea that I'll be able to complete it and make it work. I had never worked with disk hardware or software in my life, but Apple was going to be allowed into Las Vegas, the Consumer Electronics Show, to show off their computers, and got to the show, took a high school programmer with me, taught him how to play craps. Randy Wigington won $35. And I taught Steve Jobs how to play craps on that trip, showed off that disc, and it was 4 little $1 chips, 8 little $1 chips, and all the other designs had 50 chips, including a big, huge, expensive, $20 to $30 chip. And why was mine it was just so unique. I thought of a different architecture, but I got to a point where I didn't know when I wrote the data on the disk and it came back, how would I tell where the bytes start and stop? You got 1 0 1 0 1 1 1 0. Where are the start and stop points? Every 8 of those little ones and zeros, and I didn't know if it was possible, but hit on magic and it worked. I found out later in life, sometimes you take on the impossible, you solve it, and sometimes you take on the impossible, and it really is impossible.